Hi everybody, this is Bryan Allen with The Mindful Eye and the Art of Lighting. The image I'm going to show you today sort of showcases a technique, a little trick if you will, that I just love to use. It's something you can use inside and outside to create some really neat effects, and that is working with lens flare. So most of the time we're trying to avoid lens flare. We've got all these hoods and stuff on our lenses to keep those flare effects out. But if you're seeking it out and trying to use it and harness that effect, you can have a lot of fun with it. Obviously, doing so outside is pretty easy. You've got the sun and natural light source back there that we all know creates lens flare. But how do you do that inside? What if you want to create that same effect in your studio or on location? And that's what I'm going to try to cover today. It's a really easy technique. We'll go through this pretty quickly, and I hope you enjoy. Let's take a look at an image. Here you go. So this image sort of showcases the technique, and just to make sure we all know what I'm talking about, this is what I mean by the flare. You can see a big bright light source back here shining directly into the camera, and it's creating this flare across here, sort of characterized by all these big spots of light on the model's face. So that is lens flare. I got another image here that may show you even better. Again, you can see the light source in this case. You can think of that just like the sun back there. In this case, it's a studio strobe. We'll talk about that in a minute. But again, it's shining right into the light, right into the camera lens, and creating these spots, these refracted light spots across the face of the model. So that's the basic effect. That's what I mean by the lens flare. Of course, we still have to expose the model's face, worry about our lighting on the front side of this image, and then apply this flare effect for creativity. So before I get into the lighting diagram, let me take a quick look here at the overall metadata. And here it is, shooting this image at with a Canon 5D and a 24-105mm f4 lens. I've got it zoomed almost all the way out in terms of a working focal length to 100mm. I'm using studio strobes here, so I'm syncing at 1/180th of a second. This particular camera syncs at a 200th of a second or slower. So 1/180th gives me fits within those parameters. And then in terms of an aperture choice, I'm shooting here at f11. And the reason there is it's good sharp aperture for this particular lens, and in terms of depth of field, I definitely don't want any flow of focus issues here. I want this to be a good sharp image. I'm going to actually light the face in sort of a harsh way, as you've seen. So I want it to be focused. I want the specularity to show through. And then finally, the ISO 200, good noise-free ISO on this camera, and it gives me a little bit of room on the low end of the ISO scale to go down to 100 if I want to bump the exposure in a crude way. So that's my basic camera settings. Now let's take a look at the lighting diagram, and I'll show you how you pull this off. Really easy. In this case, I've got the model just against a white seamless paper on a background stand, and of course, let me get a camera in here. There I am. I'm probably working about 6 or 8 feet away from the model at this point. And the way you get the lens flare effect is really easy. You just take a simple strobe with an open reflector, just the open metal dish, no light modification whatsoever, and situate it in a way that it's maybe 5 or 6 feet behind the model, and going just over her head and shoulder. In this case, I'm kind of situating the model between the lens and the light to block some of the light, but I want enough of it to come through to create that flare effect. And you can see that in camera pretty well with just the modeling lights. Take a few test shots and you'll definitely see the effect you're getting. Remember, we were shooting f11 in terms of the working aperture on the face here, and I can tell you probably at least a stop and a half above that on the metering with the lens flare light. So I'm probably shooting there at maybe f16 or so. So You still have to light the face, and to do that, in this case, I've used a ring flash, and I love this technique. The ring flash really just fills in all the shadows and gives you this nice sort of harsh, dramatic, and sort of specular light, while simultaneously filling in all the shadows. And that works really well in combination with this lens flare setup, because the lens, that light coming through the hair can produce some sort of odd shadows in the face. So the ring flash fills all that in, gives me a nice dramatic lighting effect on the face, and that's it. It's that simple. 2 lights, real easy setup, and I hope you can have fun with that. Let's take one more quick look at the image. There you go. That's what we ended up with in this case. And then with that, I think we are done. So appreciate you being here. Thanks for checking out this edition of The Art of Lighting, and we will talk with you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.